What's up, everybody? Welcome to round number 4 of the store championship that I had the privilege of judging as well as recording for you guys today. And we've got at the top tables right now 2 undefeated players. We've got Kuzan on the right and a blue purple Luffy on the left. Love to see me some Kuzan action. Everybody knows blue purple Luffy is still doing well, still doing very well, even without Big Mom and good old Katakuri. But we see a nice little Kuzan also having a little bit of a tear here. Kuzan, it's a little bit of a sleeper deck. It's a very good at what it does, and that is flooding the board with big bodies, as well as having some of the most efficient like bounceable, bottom deckable removal in the game right now. And it's also searchable in this deck as well, right? Gravity Blade being one of the best, still probably one of the best cards for removal wise in the game, and being able to be searchable off of that is also awesome as well. And we're going to see a Sengoku come out. Sengoku going to go ahead and look at the top 5 cards, going to grab 2 Navy cards, and we're going to stick those on the bottom here. And because he makes you trash a card means you also get to draw a card off of Kuzan's effect, so basically a full cycle here, which is pretty nice. So being able to find 2 cards, being able to get rid of a bad card, get a new card as well off the Kuzan, really great. Sengoku, one of the best plays you want to see early game. You want to set up things like your ACOS Garp and your Kuzans and your Akainus, right? Your Sakazukis as well. But we're going to see here a pretty solid card actually into these decks that like to play big bodies, and that's good old Mr. 2. Mr. 2 just going to ramp him up, and then just going to pass back over to the Kuzan player here. Notably, it looks like Kuzan is on, I think, what I see, 4 Dawn plus 1, so looks like Kuzan is on the going first curve, so it's going to be at 5 Dawn right now, which means it's going to be 2 more turns before they can start to put Garps into play here. But we'll see what ends up happening. We got another 3 drop here. This is likely another Sengoku coming down. Sengoku, again, very strong here. And we want to make sure that we trash a card, and then we're going to look at the top 5. And actually, a little bit of a sequencing thing here is you actually trash a card, and then you look at the top 5, and then you draw a card. And I think we're going to get a correction here, as I was actually pulled over to the table just to make sure everything was going well, and that's actually exactly what we need to do. So we're just going to quickly repair the game state here. So just going to stick that card back on top that he drew, and it's now going to be top of the. We're going to take the card that was part of it, which was the bottom card here, and we're going to make it public knowledge for both. There we go. Okay, we're making sure that we fix the game state here. So that's public knowledge, card that's put on top. And then now we are going to look at the top 5 and make sure that we grab 2 cards, so 2 Navy cards, and then that card that we flipped over is going to be the card that's going to be drawn off the Kuzan. So just make sure when you're playing Kuzan, you're just making sure that you resolve the entire card's effect before you try to proc Kuzan's leader ability to draw some more cards. So just a slight little misstep there, but we were able to repair the game state, so no problems at all. We're going to see a nice little 7k come across here. So 2 Sengokus allowing Kuzan to really filter out the hand here, get everything that he needs for the late game. But again, kind of unfortunate that he is in a state where he has to wait 2 more turns before Garp comes out. Likely that is a little unfortunate, right? Especially on this next turn, we could see potentially a Kuzan coming down. Kuzan would be pretty solid, right? An AK body that can also freeze something, but right now, Luffy's not really providing a whole lot of options here. We see a God Thread come down to ramp Luffy up again, taking out one of the Sengokus, and we're going to see a 7k go at lead. Going to put a little bit of pressure on Kuzan's hand. Kuzan's hand always big, always full of 2ks, so we'll see how much pressure can really be applied here in the mid to early game here. And Bond Play just going to be chilling. Just going to give the, there we go. And pass back to turn here, because that was a 7k hit, so we want to make sure we give a 2k, 1k out of it. I think that was just like the clarification, a little bit of a decision on his side. And so now, sitting on the 7 Dawn turn, this could be a good turn to play down the, we could just play down the Sakazuki, right? As a way to just draw some cards. We could also play down the other card here, but instead we're going to play out Gion. Gion, pretty solid little Navy 2k. Has an incidental little ability here to cause your opponent to start putting cards from their hand on the bottom of the deck if they start using events here. And so actually pretty heads up play here as we go a 7k into Luffy here. And we specifically have 2 Dawn up on the other side, which is going to be used for that event here. So we're going to be ramping a Don, but also going to be putting a card back from our hands. So we're going to get out of that attack. We're going to ramp the Don, and then we'll have to put a card from our hand on the bottom of the deck here. A whole lot of big bodies in hand, a whole lot of non-counter. So likely just going to take, looks like four unique cards there. Just going to stick the, likely that Luffy is not going to be very good, the Rush Luffy. That bounces a 4-drop or less, just because most of Kuzan's threats are going to be a lot larger, and the ones that you want to bounce are going to be ones that are pretty sticky, right? Like that Borsalino, which can't be removed from the field. Alright, we're going to see an activation of leader effect start a turn, because we are up at the 8-Don threshold. That's what that Thunder Bagua allowing us to do here. We're going to pick up the Zorojiro, we're going to draw a card, and go into our 10-Don turn. We were able to set up the top, but we do have a Sanji in hand as well. This could be a pretty big turn to slam down a Sanji into something else off the top. A lot of the big power threats are in hand though, so a little awkward if Kuzan managed to get go wider at this point. But we'll see here as the game develops. Little 7k lead. Kuzan just gonna take that one. We're gonna see a Sanji come down. Sanji gonna reveal the top card of the library. And if it is a cost 9 or less character, other than Sanji, it'll put it right into play. We're going to see Luffy come in. Luffy's going to Don -1, draw a card, and swing a nice little 10k rusher into life here. So 2 life, down to 2 life for Kuzan. And Kuzan's finally getting to the turns where he can start to play his big bodies here, right? Up to the 9-Don turn. A little scary sitting across the board, because once you start to play your big threats, that Bond Clay that's been sitting there all game is going to start swinging for 8Ks. So, pretty scary here. We're going to see Garp come down. Garp's going to make you discard a card, and then get to play out a 8,000 power blue Navy card, other than Garp, I think is the general thing. Yeah. So we're going to play out Aramaki. We're going to make sure that we draw after we finish that effect here. And Aramaki being a big old blocker, 8K blocker, with the additional ability to bottom deck, I think it's 2-cost characters, right? 2-cost or less characters, and give himself 3,000 additional power by discarding a card. I believe is what that card says. That card is an old one. That card is from OP06. No one really knew what was going on when they printed that card. I didn't really see any play at all, but now it's found itself a nice little home in good old Kuzan here. We're going to look top 5 off of Luffy's leader effect, start a turn. Gonna start picking up some counter, because that hand does not have a whole lot of counter here. We're gonna pick up another Sanji. I think this Sanji is likely gonna be set up to pop another body into board here. You just want to overwhelm Kuzan at this point, because Kuzan's gonna start dumping out some bigger bodies. But if you're at an advantage here of having slightly bigger bodies, right, having 9k and 10ks, it's gonna be a whole different story here. And we're just gonna start with the 6k lead. Just gonna honestly 2k check. And we're going to get that 2k out of hand. And now we're just going to start poking with a 9k. Probably going to just stair step it up a little bit here. I'm fairly certain we're trying to bait and knock the blocker here. So then we can get a pretty solid attack in with the Bond Clay. Going to use the new 1-cost event from Kuzan. This makes you trash a card and then draw a card off Kuzan's effect. And you give 4,000 counter to a player or a character. I think maybe it's just a leader. He's going to use that in a 1k counter to get out of that swing here. And we're going to see the 9-drop Sanji into 8-drop Luffy. This is the Rush Luffy here. This Rush Luffy is going to activate effect because we want to get some rested Dawn as well as bouncing something here. And so we're going to elect to bounce the 2k back to hand and attach a Dawn to Bond Clay, making it now a 9k swing, copying Garp's attack. So we've got 8k, 9k, 10k on this turn, and Kuzan's forces, they are dwindling here, as now we're going to swing a 10k. This 10k you have to block and counter out of, right? You have to do that. So I think we're going to see just double 2k, double 2k, triple 2k, no block. No block off the Aramaki. I think that was a misstep here. I think maybe the Kuzan player thought the Sanji could attack as well, but yeah, no, that was it for attackers there. And I think you definitely could have just given a 2k, 1k, and an Aramaki block. Would have kept 2 more 2ks in hand, which is going to make the rest of this game a whole lot harder here, unless Unless Kuzan can start establishing some bodies here, but instead, no Garp into something like a Kuzan would be pretty solid here. But now this is honestly racing time, right? You could potentially take out some of these bodies. We do see the Kuzan coming down anyways. Would have loved to see it off the Garp instead, but you know, reducing hand size here, not too great. Only 3 cards in hand. We're going to freeze the Tin Drop Luffy. But we still have an 8k, a 9k, a 9k, and a Bond Clay still on the board. You have to get some of these characters off the board. I think a 5 into the Bond Clay is probably worthwhile here. Just because I don't think you can race, right, with the amount of cards on board right now that can attack and the amount of power. So you gotta stymie some of the attacks here. Okay, yeah, well, probably better to swing the 3k here, but otherwise, I mean, you can swing the 5k too. Doesn't really matter since Luffy's a 6k leader. We're gonna see an 8k swing. Because you used all your Dawn, you can't really threaten a lot of the characters here. So instead, I think this is going at lead here. Where is this going? Whether it was going at lead or going at 8 cross Luffy, it doesn't really matter. That gear 2 is gonna save regardless, which means Luffy doesn't have any 2k. I guess this was going at lead. He would have just given a 1k Zoro if it was going at the character here. So still trying to push a little bit of damage. Oh, you do not want to give up that blocker. That is very unfortunate. Yeah, you're going to give up that blocker here. And I think we're just going to... This might just be the end of the game here. I think we're just going to concede. Yep. So Kuzan, unfortunately, kind of looks like he was stuck on the bad curve. I think he lost the die roll. And then Luffy was just able to power out more than 1 body per turn. A whole lot faster than Kuzan could, right? If Kuzan was going first, maybe he would have been able to keep up a slightly more tempo. Definitely also wanted to see some bodies that can interact more with the board, get some card advantage. But anyways, if you enjoy this type of content, definitely subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.